short video just showing you how to release your legs a little bit after running, or maybe you've been doing a lot of cycling, but generally running tightens up the outer hip, the glutes, quite a lot. So I thought I'd just show you a few exercises you can do to really help release tension from running in the legs and the lower back. So for this little sequence, you'll need a strap, but you can use anything as a strap. So you could use a resistance band, you could use a belt, you could even use a towel, you could use a cat. Shut up, you. All right, so we'll start lying down. So if you just get yourself comfortable on the mat or anything you've got to have a little lie on. Apologies for my cat meowing here. Can you just be quiet? Can you be quiet, please? Have a little lie down after strangling the cat, and then loop your strap or belt around the right foot. You want to get a really good grip with your right hand, and you can keep your left knee bent. So especially if your hips are really stiff, keep your left knee bent, or straighten out the left leg, and that will help increase the stretch in the hip flexor. Also a good area to release tension if you've been running. Now just give your ankle a little circle for a few rounds first. So you can keep the right knee a little bit bent, and just kind of relaxing the ankle by circling it one way and then the other way, and just noticing any kind of like sort of electric sensations in your foot, which could be signs that your connective tissue is a little bit sore. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, try drawing the right leg towards you a little bit. So you want to find that you're creating space in the back of the right leg, and if you press into the blade of the right foot, you'll also feel maybe tension running along the outside of the leg. So just notice for a few breaths as you move your foot, as you press into different areas of your foot, where you're feeling the tension, which areas of the leg, which areas of the foot. Because don't forget, everything that happens in your foot is transferring into the knee and the hip, and then ultimately the lower back. So get a good grip on the strap, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just have a go at drawing the leg towards you. Now you want to keep the hips on the floor, but you also want to keep the shoulders on the floor. You can take a few deep breaths here, working on just attentively deepening the stretch, but really softly and subtly. So you don't want to be like yanking and tugging, you just want to ease space into the leg, as if you were trying to stretch out a piece of elastic that was a bit cold and you're trying to warm it up. You can even draw some little circles with the foot, just thinking about where you're feeling the tension. And then taking an inhale, exhale, left hand is on the left hip, just start to move the right leg out to the side. Attempt to keep the right foot in line with the hip, so you're not letting it go down too low, in which case you might need to bend the knee. Remember, if your leg starts to shake, that means you need to back off a little bit. So soften the knee, maybe just adjust the foot, or even just come away from the stretch a little bit so it's not quite so intense. Now as you breathe in, exhale, see if you can locate the tension in your inside thigh, so the inner hip here, and work the foot a little bit. So make sure you're active in your foot. Place your left hand on your left hip and try to extend the left heel towards the bottom of the mat. You might need a little bit of effort with your right hand just to keep the right leg lifted, and you don't need to let the leg collapse all the way down. And don't forget to keep both hips on the mat. As you breathe out, really ease a little bit more space into the inside hip. Try and tell your leg muscles to relax, especially if they're super tight. Then bend the right knee, gently bring the leg to center, and just switch the grip into the left hand. Now again, keeping the foot in line with the hip, ground down through the right side, and then take the right foot to the left. Now you'll feel it running down the outer right hip. And you want to work into the blade edge of the foot, or the pinky toe side of the foot, so you can feel the stretch all the way down your right side. Now as you breathe, try to release tension and focus on your whole body. So the exhalations are releasing, and the inhalations are bringing your attention to the areas that need releasing. So you can take a couple of breaths here. You can start turning this into a twist by looking over the right shoulder, and that will help to release all the way into the lower back. And take a couple of breaths here. Or if you start to feel the foot's going numb or tingly, back off a little bit, because that's a sign that you're pressing on a nerve, which is not good. Bring the leg back to the center. Release the strap. Let's have a go at the other side. So loop the strap around the left foot. And then again, it's up to you whether you keep the knee bent or straighten the leg out. I like to straighten the leg out because it doesn't upset my back. And I want to feel the stretch a little bit in the front of the hip as well on the other leg. And then just again, working a bit of a movement through the ankle. Both directions. Noticing where you're feeling that in your foot and how those sensations transfer into the knee and the hip. And then starting to draw the leg towards you. And again, you don't have to lock out the knee. In fact, I recommend not locking the knee completely, just allowing a bit of softness, a bit of movement there. Just notice where you're feeling this around your hamstrings. And again, try and keep the hips on the floor. Take a couple of breaths here. And I recommend maybe spending a little bit longer than I am in these poses, especially if you've got loads of tension. Remember, the strap is stopping you from forcing the stretch. The strap is giving you exactly the right amount of space that you need. So you might be here, and try straightening the leg. If that means moving the leg away a little bit, try that. Because sometimes it's nice to open up the back of the knee. And so as you exhale, try and imagine that you're pressing the hip bone down, pressing a little bit into the different areas of the left foot, drawing the foot up. So the hip goes down, the foot goes up. Then left hand's holding the strap, right hand's holding your right hip down. And then as you breathe out, move the left leg over to the left side. So you can feel the stretch through the inner thigh and work the right hip down to the floor. In fact, maybe even engage the right quadricep and then keep letting the left leg move out to the side till it feels like a really good stretch. Oh, that feels good. When you're running, you get all these impact tensions around the different areas of your foot. Your connective tissues in your feet start to transfer that tension up. Now bring the leg to center, switch the grip so you're holding the strap with the right hand, and then keeping the hips grounded, take the left leg to the right. Now you might notice one side's a lot tighter than the other, and then I like to work with a little bend and a little straighten into the outer leg. So you're working through your IT band here, all the way into the glute. You can probably feel that deep into your glutes. Try and keep the left leg in line with the left hip. And then maybe look over the left shoulder to get a little twist. As you breathe, start to feel like you're relaxing and letting go. Imagine you're in this beautiful jungle scene here, lovely. Oh. And really explore this one. This is the one that's going to relieve the IT band. So I like to almost try and slide the left hip down, pressing out through the ball of the left foot and creating a little bit of space around the hip flexor. Couple of deep breaths here. And then bending the left knee, come back to center. Just bring your strap over to one side. Have a go now at holding both feet with both hands for happy baby pose. Happy baby pose, I want you to press your tailbone into the ground. Hold your feet, flexing them and drawing the feet, or the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. Try pressing the thighs down towards the floor. And then have a little roll around. Do a little piston stretch side to side. Breathe deeply into the legs, and as you exhale, try and imagine all the tension from your lower back and your hips is melting into the floor. If this is really challenging, you can absolutely hold the legs, or you can use the strap to loop around the feet, and then you can use the strap to kind of experiment a little bit. It's quite a nice thing to practice, to have a go at. Use the strap. Is sort of like an extension of your arm. So if your legs are very stiff, the strap can really help you into these postures. So a little bit of time there. Once you've had a few breaths there, have a little roll up. And then just come over onto your front, coming into tabletop position. Now, right leg comes forward. This is something that I like to do. This is, you might even know about this already as a brilliant runner's stretch, but it's just so good. Because when you come forward into your low lunge here, this is going to open the hip flexor area at the front of the left hip. And then as you come back, you're going to work a little bit of space into the outer leg and the back of the right leg. So let's try 4 rounds of this. As you breathe in, you want to make sure this right heel's far enough forward that it stays on the floor. And then as you breathe out, you can lift the ball of the right foot. Just try to ease the tailbone back and stretch out from the hip bone. Take an inhale to come forward, focusing on the front of the left hip. Use your fingertips, or you can have a couple of blocks or books either side of your right foot. And then exhale, melt back, work some space into the back of the right hip. Let's try that 2 more times. Inhaling to come forward, let the hip melt forward. Exhaling to melt back. Inhaling to come forward. And on this next exhale, we're going to come back. Don't forget you can put something under your knee here as well. You can fold the mat over. Now drive the right heel into the floor. Straighten the right leg out as much as you can. Place your left hand close to the right foot. Now drive the right heel down, lift the right hip up. Try lifting your right arm. If that's uncomfortable, you can take the hand onto the hip. Now work the right heel down and move the right hip up and over towards the left. And you'll feel the stretch again in the IT band. Try breathing deeply to open the chest. Exhale, press the heel down, open up the outer hip. Oh, that is a really good IT band stretch. So then you can just come back, take a break in child's pose, wiggle the hips out. You could do downward dog if you feel like it. And then left foot comes forward. And then sink into the right hip. So the right front hip opens now. Always check in on this left knee being underneath the heel. Breathe in, open up through the whole front line. And then exhale, imagine you're opening the entire back line. So all the way from the heel into the neck. Inhaling to come forward. You can have the top of the right foot down or curl the toes under, whatever's better for your foot. Exhale, release. Inhale, come forward, front of the body. Exhale, back of the body, tail lifts. Wiggle the left hip a little bit, explore. Let's do one more. Inhaling to come forward. Exhaling to come back. And then just stay for a moment. Focus on grounding the heel. Again, you can put cushioning under any of these bits that feel sore on the floor. The right hand comes close to the left foot. Straighten the left leg as much as you can. Then lift the left arm up. Oh, that is a good stretch. Woo, now you want to wiggle this left hip down and over to the right. The left arm can either go up or onto the left hip. And then just stay here for a couple of breaths. Don't forget to breathe. Really working the heel down and the hip up. This is really intense, but I absolutely adore it. It really sorts out this outer line of the left hip, which again gets super tight when you've been running. In fact, this line event, it can get really tight regardless, to be honest. And then bending the left knee. Oh, let's take a press back to child's pose. So I hope you found that useful. Don't forget to join my, subscribe to my weekly videos, which are hour-long videos, where there's lots more stuff like this. I like to incorporate yoga, qigong, which is like Tai Chi, Pilates, lots of different ways of moving, even martial arts. You can check out those videos at the web address below, notyouraverage.yoga.com. Yeah, and drop me a message, comment, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and give me some feedback and get in touch. And I hope you're staying happy and well.